There are many reasons why someone might want to play the classical guitar without nails. There are the historic reasons. So you might have heard of Emilio Pujol, Francesco Tarrega, Fernando Sor, and the fact that these great guitarists played without nails and evidently preferred it. You might wonder why. You might, as I was, be enticed by the possibility of rediscovering lost sounds, of approaching music with an historical imagination. Others might have an aesthetic interest in no-nail playing. The guitar is an instrument which we hold in our arms, we sort of cradle it in our laps. We're very close to it, and the sound it produces is personal and intimate. And playing with fingertips can add to that. You're directly in contact with the string, there's a romantic sensation to it. And it was definitely an appeal to me. Another reason is practical. Work, hobbies get in the way of growing nails, they might even preclude growing nails. Some people have medical problems which make it difficult for them to grow nails, if not impossible. And some people just have bad nails, or nails which require a lot of work, a lot of maintenance to get to a good, beautiful standard. My nails were okay. I could use them, I could play advanced repertoire with them, but they did require quite a bit of work to make beautiful. And once the possibility of no-nail playing entered my mind as a valid possibility, the fact that my nails require quite a bit of maintenance pushed me in that direction. So I've been doing this for 3/4 of a year, and it's very much been an experiment. This video is going to just detail my observations about no-nail playing, things I wish I knew at the beginning. It's not going to tell you how to play without nails. I'm not following any school of no-nail playing, not like a Tarrega school or the Sor school. They don't really exist in any meaningful sense. There isn't the same sort of pedagogy, at least about anatomy and biology and the mechanics of playing without nails, that there is when it comes to playing with nails. There aren't the same kind of detailed tutor books available. So this is my individual way of playing and why I play this way, and I hope people can just pick out what is useful to them. The first thing to note is that you don't need any sort of special guitar to play without nails. This is just a standard Spanish style guitar, 65 centimeter string length. You don't need any special strings either. I've done videos playing with normal nylon strings. I've also played with gut strings. I've also played with synthetic gut strings. I've played with rectified nylon strings, all of which I found perfectly manageable. Some no-nail players do prefer strings with a rough surface because it gives you some grip with the right hand. So these would be rectified nylon strings, gut strings, synthetic gut strings. I've not found that necessary, and if a nylon string has felt particularly slippery, I can always just sand it with very fine grade, I think 3000 grit sandpaper. Just sand it at various angles very lightly, and then you've got a bit of grip on the string. It doesn't ruin the string, it doesn't change the sound, it just gives you some grip if you want that. The one thing I would recommend when starting out, and I learned this the hard way, is whatever strings you use, tune them down to wherever is comfortable for your right hand, reducing the tension. I didn't do this at first. When I started out, I played on the same old strings for the first few weeks, and I tried to play the same sort of advanced repertoire I'd been playing before. And I hurt my fingers terribly, particularly the middle finger, which got a humongous blood blister on, which I wouldn't wish on my worst enemy, and it took months to properly heal. I could still play on it, but it wasn't right for months. So make sure you tune your strings down. And go slowly. It's quite hard, especially if, like me, you were playing quite difficult music before. You've got to go slowly, stick to stuff like Sor Opus 35, Brauer, simple etudes, just simple melody lines even, and just focus on creating a beautiful, pleasing sound, not a loud sound, not a strong sound, but a pleasing sound. Practice in short sessions when your fingers hurt, when your body is telling you it's in pain. Stop, don't keep practicing. Another mistake I made. So focus chiefly on the quality of sound. In terms of striking the string with the right hand, many of the same principles apply as when you play with nails. You chiefly want to use the big knuckle, power through the stroke. You want to push towards the soundboard, into the instrument. That's where you get the most round, most beautiful, strongest sound. You will have to push harder than with nails, or at least you have to have more strength and push further to produce the same sort of sound. Nails do a lot of the work for you. You also, I would think, don't think about it as if you're lacking nail. It's maybe not a good idea to use the term no nail or without nail. It's better to think that you're playing with the flesh, that you're using the flesh. And so think about the shape of your fingertip. Think about where the bone in your finger is. Think about how the nail is supporting the flesh, buttressing the flesh. I had to think about how each fingertip has a different shape, different texture even. Some of my fingertips, like the I finger, is quite tapered. The M finger is quite fleshy. I have to strike them at different points to get a more homogeneous sound. But sometimes I use these inherent qualities. For example, I've started using the pinky finger, the C finger we call it, for top notes, because I found it's very tapered. It produces a nice pinging sound. It brings out the top notes. You can hear the top note very clearly when I play with that finger. And I did the same thing actually when I played with nails. Each of my nails had a slightly different shape, slightly different texture, slightly different thickness, hardness. And I would try to homogenize the sound, but often I would lean on the particular characteristics of the nail, and I do the same thing for the fingertips. I should note that even when playing without nails, the length of the nail is still relevant. Obviously, if the nail is a bit too long, it'll come into the contact with the string accidentally. But conversely, if the nail is too short, at least on a very fleshy finger, I find that the flesh isn't sufficiently supported. There isn't enough of a buttress as you come into contact with the string. So I grow out the nail slightly, just enough to support the flesh, but not so much that it comes into contact with the string. This is something that Virginia Luque talks about. She's a very fine modern concert guitarist who plays without nails. The other issue to do with fingertips is calluses. So on the left hand, guitarists develop very hard, very leathery calluses on the fingertips from playing on the fretboard. I don't think this is desirable on the right hand. Rob McKillop, who is the foremost advocate for no-nail playing around at the moment, has no callus on his right hand. He says he moisturizes very diligently to make sure that he doesn't build up a callus, develop blistering, and this is how he produces his beautiful silky sound. It's less clear what historic players did. Emilio Pujol has a very strange paragraph in his biography of Tárrega where he talks about Tárrega developing the necessary hardness in the fingertips so that he can play softly. I'm not sure what to make of this paragraph. It's quite poetic and aesthetic, like a lot of Pujol's writing. With regards to my own playing, I think I've developed what I would call a very soft callus. It's nothing like the left hand, but my fingertips are firmer than what they used to be. They're slightly harder than what they used to be, and they can resist more than they used to be able to resist. The flesh is still fleshy and soft and squidgy. It's not hard, really, at all. It's just firm. I think firm is the best word. So you may wonder if playing without nails places any limitations upon your playing. I've not found this to be the case. Anything I could play with nails, I've learned to play, or I'm learning to play without nails. In some cases, I find, for example, appogando, breaststroke, easier to play without nails. Raschiado I can still play. Ponticello, easy. Tasto. So I've still got a wide enough tonal range. Harmonics, obviously easy to play, natural harmonics. Artificial harmonics, all very easy. I've still got a wide dynamic range, very quiet, very loud. I could do that with chords. So yes, I don't feel limited in any way. And in fact, in certain respects, I can get kinds of sounds, beautiful kinds of sounds, I really struggle to get with nails. One thing I should note, which is slightly unconventional by modern standards, is I do rest my pinky when I'm playing on the soundboard, like so, which sort of anchors the rest of my fingers, gives me some greater security. This was done historically in the 19th century and with lutenists earlier. And when you're exerting a lot of strength with the right hand and doing faster passages, it does anchor the hand and it helps, I find. It's never firmly placed, it's very gently placed, it often comes off, and as I say, I often play with the pinky finger to pluck. But it is there, and I do find it useful when playing without nails. So I hope this video has been useful in some way. If you are thinking about cutting off your nails, I would say just experiment. Go very slowly. Understand that you will be looking through a glass darkly, as it were. This is not something with which there's an established way of learning. It will require experimentation, as I say. You'll have to listen to old recordings, salvage what you can on the internet and in other archives to try and work out how to use this technique. But if you persevere, it will happen and you'll get a beautiful sound, as I hope some of my videos attest to. Anyway, I'm sure there are many things I've missed out, but if you have any questions, please leave a comment. Thank you for watching.